We will call the meeting to order for February 29th. Happy Leap Day. We only have to do this once every 4 years. Senator Dietrich, do you have some guests with us today?
I do. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I have 2 pages today. They're freshmen. One is a freshman at Washburn Rural High School, and one's a freshman at Topeka West. So we have Burke Harson, wave Burke so they can see you on TV, and Athen Smith.
Welcome to Senate Financial Institutions and Insurance Committee. Okay, committee, we have 3 bills today. They are all going to be very familiar to you because I think we handled them as Senate bills also, but part of the process is that we now get to consider House bills and gauge whether the House thinks they're as important as we do. So with that, we will open the hearing on House Bill 2530. Eileen, can you give us a review?
Thank you, Mr. Chair, members of the committee. House Bill 2530 amends KSA 2023 sub 40-2,125. It removes the definition, removes the term automobile club from the definition of person for purposes of violations of insurance law. Upon request by the Insurance Department, the House Committee on Insurance further amended the bill to remove the listing of all specific entities subject to jurisdiction of the Commissioner. This bill passed the House Committee of the Whole on a vote of 118 to 2 on February 9th. And this is analogous to our Senate Bill 340, other than the amendment that the House put on. And with that, I can stand for questions.
Committee, are there any questions? I see none. Thank you. Now turn our attention to the proponents. Eric.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee. Eric Turek with the Kansas Insurance Department. Happy to stand in support of House Bill 2530. The Senate just passed Senate Bill 340, which passed unanimously. This would just remove the term automobile club from the definition of person within the department's general enforcement statute. Since 2021, the legislature passed Senate Bill 78, which deregulated automobile clubs. The department hasn't regulated automobile clubs since then, and this is honestly just a remnant of that legislation once upon a time, and it's just cleanup. So the House did make the, I was not going to say that one term, Eileen, if that's what you were making a bet on. I will say, I'll speak to the House amendment really quickly. There are all these terms referenced on page 2. You'll see starting on line 17. The House decided to strike all of those in particular. It would seem it would be extra onerous on the legislature if the department would have to come back and visit the statute every single time that an entity no longer falls under the jurisdiction of the department. If you recall, last year the legislature inserted "and any other legal entity under the jurisdiction of the commissioner," so that way we wouldn't have to visit the statute when additional entities were added under the department's jurisdiction. I'd be happy to stand for questions.
Thank you, Eric. Committee, are there questions? Senator Gossage.
Eric, I'm sorry, I'm trying to clarify. So the amendment that was added, is that a good thing? I mean, I'm trying to understand can you explain that again?
Sure. So the base bill just would have removed the automobile club term. The amendment would have stricken all terms. So that way, it would just refer to any jurisdiction or any entity under the jurisdiction of the insurance commissioner. I'm not sure if I answered your question. In the department's view, that was a friendly amendment.
That was my question. Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Senator Fagg.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Eric, thank you for your presentation. How come this part wasn't done on our bill to start with? Is that, who come up with this idea to take this?
Sure. It was the department's, thinking back a couple weeks ago, I believe we supplied language to the chairman, and it was offered in the House committee. Didn't think to offer it here as well, duplicative.
Okay.
Thank you for not doing that. It will now go to conference.
Yeah, okay.
One will survive and the other one will be used for something else.
Thank you. That makes sense.
Okay, any additional proponents, opponents, or neutrals on House Bill 2530? Seeing none, we will close the hearing on 2530, and we will now turn our attention to House Bill 2531. Eileen?
Thank you, Mr. Chair, members of the committee. This is House Bill 2531, which is analogous to our Senate Bill 339. It's the most favorite bill of mine ever in the world to draft. It's our annual date change bill. The bill passed the House Committee of the Whole on a vote of 108 to 12 on February 8th, 2024, and I can stand for questions.
Are there questions for Eileen? Seeing none, thank you. Eric, you're back up.
Thank you again, Mr. Chairman. Eric Turek with the Kansas Insurance Department. Happy to stand in support of House Bill 2531. The Senate just passed Senate Bill 339. This would update the risk-based capital instructions promulgated by the National Association of Insurance Commissioners. It changes the year from 2022 to 2023. I will stand for questions.
Eric, I assume this is a very important bill to the department, correct? And probably needs to be enacted as fast as we can possibly get it enacted?
This is an accreditation standard, and it's quite pivotal that this pass this legislative session.
Okay. Eileen, if you could prepare an amendment that maybe gets that enacted quicker, if we could, that'd be helpful. Any additional proponents, opponents, or neutrals on House Bill 2531? Okay, seeing none, we'll close the hearing on House Bill 2531. We will now open the hearing on House Bill 2532.
I feel like I'm living my life in fast forward today. Thank you, Mr. Chair, members of the committee. House Bill 2532 changes certain reporting requirements for group-funded liability and workers' compensation pools. This is the same bill as our Senate Bill 338. As you recall, this bill added 30 extra days to group-funded liability pools to submit their independent audited financial statement, and also changed the reporting requirement from the commissioner to the actual terminating or canceled member involved with one of the pools when they receive it, when they transition onto additional coverage. And the bill passed the House Committee of the Whole on a vote of 118 to 2 again on February 8th. I can stand for questions.
Thank you, Eileen. Committee, are there questions? See none. Eric?
Thank you again, Mr. Chairman. Eric Turek with the Kansas Insurance Department. As the revisor stated, this concerns group-funded workers' compensation pools and group-funded pools. In statute, they have 150 days to submit their independent audits to the insurance department, 150 days after their fiscal year. This would extend that by 30 days. We already grant these pools an extension to accommodate the difficulty that they have in accomplishing or completing these on time. And we are in constant communication with the pools, and that need has been relayed to us. In addition, for just the group-funded workers' compensation pools, when a member chooses to leave or is terminated from that membership, the pool itself must notify the department within 10 days. We don't find that necessary, that notification. We're already in pretty constant communication with them. Happy to stand for questions.
Are there questions for Eric? Eric, on this bill, I also assume that it's extremely important to the department and you would like to have it enacted as soon as possible?
Yes.
We'll do our best. Okay, committee, that completes our work for today. We will not meet tomorrow. We will not meet on Monday. Next week, we will hear a number of bills that are new subjects, so it won't be quite as redundant as today was. So have a great weekend, and we will see you in committee on Tuesday. We're adjourned.